All right, guys, we have the third reveal today. We have 5 brand new cards from the Call of the Mountain expansion. So, as always, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button if you like the video, and strap in as we go through 5 brand new cards from the new set. All right, first up we have Flower Child as a 1-drop for Ionia. When this card is supported, it gets +2/+0. Now, I know this has been a hot topic as of late. Grant versus give. This card very specifically says grant me, which means this buff is permanent. So if it gets supported again, it goes even higher and higher. Over 9,000. All right, so it keeps going up. This card reminds me of Fey Blade Twirler. It also reminds me of Greenglade Caretaker. Caretaker and Blade Twirler and this Flower Child basically all end up potentially being a late game threat as a 1-cost unit. So same deal could happen with this. Obviously, this is based on supporting. Caretaker is based on barriers, and Blade Twirler based on stuns. Now, my concern is how good will the support for the support, still sounds weird whenever I say that, mechanic be? Because we see Yasuo. Yasuo's been chilling since the beginning of the game. He's just not that great. And Fey Blade Twirler, as amazing as she works with that deck archetype, and as great of a card that is, it doesn't see play simply because the archetype is just not good, right? So will this support archetype actually have a place in the meta? If it does have a place in the meta, I very much think that this card will be a very typical 1-drop in most of those decks. I will say this card, you do need to draw it early. It works obviously much better when you draw it early. You can curve into a 2-cost unit on turn 2. Whew, that was a tongue twister. So we'll see. Again, this is very heavily dependent on how good all of these support cards are going to be. All right, so now we have Young Witch, which I absolutely love what this card is trying to accomplish. It's a 2-drop. That's 1/1. So you're like, wow, man, 1 health. 1 health is always concerning, but it is elusive, and when it attacks and it supports a unit, that unit gets quick attack plus 1 attack alongside that. So, all right, there's a lot going on here. Legion Drummer is the first card that comes to mind, right? So essentially, you're paying the same amount of mana, but you're losing 2 attack and 1 health to basically get elusive, but also get a little bit of an attack boost as well, right? Legion Drummer only gives quick attack, doesn't actually give an attack boost. However, you know, first off, that trade-off seems good, you know, just stats-wise, just the cost ratio to stat ratio seems good there. But I don't know, I value elusive with a support unit a whole hell of a lot more than I do with a lot of other units, because that means you'll definitely be able to get strikes off with this without it just being chump blocked and killed, which is one of the problems that support units inherently have. Now, it does have 1 health. Makes it a little difficult to, you know, keep it on the board in general anyways. But if you are able to get multiple hits off with something like a Fleet Feather Tracker or some sort of Overwhelm unit, now they're getting quick attack, and they're getting, like, Challenger with quick attack is insane. Quick attack with Overwhelm is pretty good, right? You keep that overwhelmed unit to attack again to do even more damage. Now, my concern is Vile Feast, Static Shock, Withering Wail. Those are all things still. As long as they're in the game, this card is going to be a little risky. But what I will say is, if I'm right with this whole Targon Ionia kind of aggro strategy, this could be a great early part of the curve going into 3, 4, and 5 to go ahead and drop Sojourners, and now you just have a huge swing on turn 5, where usually an elusive deck is looking for Windfarer Hatchling on turn 7. Sojourners on turn 5 might actually be not only better, but a lot faster than something like Windfarer Hatchling. And listen, you could potentially go into turn 3, if you have attack on turn 1 and then attack on turn 3, you play Flower Child first, then you play Young Witch. Now you're going into a turn where you're going to have a 4/2 attacker with quick attack and a 1/1 elusive, both attacking 4/5 damage, and that 4/2 is going to stay at 3/2 afterwards and possibly get to be even bigger. So, again, still waiting to see what other 3-drops are going to be released. We did see one of the other ones yesterday that could potentially help out Targon a little bit, but that is more for the gem strategy than the support strategy. And this leads me to believe there will be elusive units in Targon, and we'll see if that is the case as they reveal more cards. All right, so this next card, I can't help but think of Badger Bear, Loyal Badger Bear. We have Fuzzy Caretaker. First we had a Loyal Badger Bear, now we have a Fuzzy Caretaker. So this card, if you compare it to something like Badger Bear, you are giving yourself basically 1 less health, but the option for a Twin Disciples for spending 1 more mana. Badger Bear, obviously 3 mana, 3/4. This is a 4 mana, 3/3, but you have that, you know, if it supports something else, the supported ally gets 3 attack. If it is being supported, it gets 3 life or health, right? So now, will you ever get both off in the same turn? Well, if you do, you now have a 4 mana 6/6, which is very nice. But my problem with this card comes with the mana slot that it is currently in. What they've revealed so far for the support mechanic, and unless there's going to be another support champion, maybe, I feel like there will be maybe an Ionia support champion, another support champion in Ionia to go alongside Shen. All the support champions are currently 4 mana. This is also 4 mana. Alright, so if you're playing Taric and Shen, you're not going to be playing this card. You have your 4 mana slot taken up by Shen and Taric. There's no need to play something like Fuzzy Caretaker. If you are only playing Ionia and you have Shen in your 4 slot, and let's say you want to throw this bad boy in, you know, there's just other 4-drops in Ionia that are typically going to get the job done a little bit better. And this won't fit in other strategies, obviously, except the support archetype. You do have all the Kinkus that are in the 4 mana slot as well. So I just think it's competing with a lot of other cards for what it does. And because of that, it's going to see far less play than people probably think. All right, so this card is eating itself, I think. I don't know. The card art's a little questionable. The card design's a little questionable as well. Unfortunately, I think this card is yet another piece of filler for the game. So if we take a look at this, 3 mana, 4/2, compared to something like Kinku Lifeblade. Essentially, you're just paying 1 less mana, right, to lose the elusive, you know, attribute, and you're also gaining 2 attack. I'd honestly rather have the elusive attribute. I don't think that the difference between 3 and 4 attack is that great. And with that said, something like Deadbloom Wanderer, which is a 3 attack, 2 health unit with lifesteal at 3 cost, I would rather have the reduction in attack to have some sort of synergistic effect that helps my overall gameplay or win condition, like Toss, like Deadbloom has, than have the extra attack on the lifesteal unit. It just doesn't feel that great. I don't think it's going to see a whole lot of play. Maybe there will be some sort of weird lifesteal deck in the future. I don't know, but I think this card is destined to just kind of get tossed in the trash. All right, and the card that you guys are obviously all here for, the one, the only, SWOLE Squirrel, 10 out of 10, would play. This card is, it's a meme card. I love it. I think it's a great card design. Overall, the card, for being a card, I don't think is that great. I don't think it's going to see a whole lot of play. You essentially, when I look at this card, I look at something like Legion Marauder. Legion Marauder already doesn't see much play, and it doesn't just buff itself, it also buffs future copies. So it has more of this inherent, you know, like deck building strategy that you can go for. This kind of wants you to base your deck around this strategy as well, but it's only on this specific card. And if you were to combine it with something like P&Z or Noxus for elusive or overwhelm, now you're playing Ionia with P&Z or Ionia with Noxus. So Ionia with P&Z for control, great. Ionia for P&Z for like some sort of aggro elusive, not so great. Maybe you go like the Teemo route with, I don't know. I don't know. And then Ionia with Noxus, maybe you play this with like Might or something like that. You attack once, it goes to 6. You attack again. Now it's at 12. And it's strike too. It's not attack, right? Like Legion Marauder was attack, so it gets it before the damage is calculated. This actually, the first time it attacks, it will be a 3/4. Does battle damage. Everything's calculated. Then it increases the attack to 6. Now it'll be a 6. You know, whatever, how much health it has left. So I do think it's worse than Legion Marauder. Actually, I do think that paying 4 you know, when Badger Bear is a 3/4 like this stat line here, you're paying 1 more mana for it. I just don't think that this is actually going to be anything more than a meme. So that's it for today. Only 5 cards. It's looking like we're going to get another champion tomorrow. Will it be Lulu? Will it be Zoe? Who knows? We'll be back tomorrow to go over that champion and see who it is they decide to reveal. So, as always, everybody, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope it just works for you, and peace out.